So the Miami Heat lost last night to take their record to 7-12 on the season, 10th in the Eastern Conference. And I know that we've seen the Heat go on some crazy runs the last couple of years towards the end of the season in order to get into the playoffs and win mid-40s, or 2 years ago get all the way to 41 wins and then not make the playoffs. These things are cool in the moment, but you could argue that over the long term that this actually is not helping them, right? Sure, it may get some extra people coming to the games, and you get to watch Erik Spoelstra's coaching, and we can celebrate Miami's ability to get guys like James Johnson and Dion Waiters to be better players and all that. But is there a chance that they should actually just tank and play their young guys as much as possible and find ways to either give Whiteside less minutes or potentially trade him, as he's actually been decent this year? Of course, the money he's making would make that difficult. I think a similar thing could be said about Goran Dragic, where maybe you could look to move him for some sort of assets, and you can get ahead of a season that may end up not being that good for you, even if you try to win all your games. Now, I know, Dion has been hurt and Dragic has been dealing with an injury, so, could Spoelstra climb them out of this to get to mid-45 wins or so? Yes, but once again, what is that really doing for this team long term, right? Now, I think it's easy to just say, we'll just tank and do it that way, but when you go into the details about Miami's situation, I think there's things worth talking about. As far as where I'm going to end up at, I'm probably still going to end up on the side of tanking, but who knows? I'll figure it out as I go. So, Josh Richardson is, of course, balling out this season, right? He is a better player. He's a much better scorer. He's making 7 threes a game. He's attempting 7 threes a game, and he's shooting 43%. Whether that dips down a little bit or not, who knows? But he's creating for himself more often. He's getting open shots in Spoelstra's offense, and he's basically making shots from everywhere besides at the rim. And most of his damage is coming from that jump shot, I would say. So yeah, he's been good, and I think he definitely makes the future look better for this team, but he's not good enough to where it's all just fixed, right? If I go and rank Richardson amongst all the 25 and younger players in the league, there's a decent amount of players that I'm naming before I get to him. But even so, it is nice to see the improvement. He's also on a great contract for the next few seasons, so that it makes the situation a little better, basically. And then you get to 2 other young dudes, one in Justice Winslow, one in Bam Adebayo. Good defensive players. Who knows what they're going to be on offense? Winslow's shooting has shown signs throughout his young career. Of course, injuries have not helped him, but even so, he's definitely not a shooter. His ball handling and playmaking have shown some signs, but he hasn't taken a big leap there. Bam seems like an awesome defender and roller and offensive rebounder who could actually have some more ball handling chops, because he's already had a few plays like that throughout his career, and I would like to see him play a little bit more. But the thing is, what are the Heat going to want to do here? Are they going to want to try to win as many games as possible and keep on doing that? I mean, it is Pat Riley we're talking about. Pat Riley believes, he doesn't believe in tanking, I know that. He might believe in try to win, and then if by game 70 we're out of it, then we can tank the next 12 games. But even so, we're not going to get a trust the process situation out of these Heat. But it may end up being the thing that they really should do, because, again, I think if you play Dragic and Whiteside, what is the ceiling of this team? It's nowhere near a conference finals appearance. It's definitely nowhere near a finals appearance. And the other thing is, you don't have your first round pick in 2021. So if you keep on just treading water of being this 38 to 45 win team, and then you don't even get a draft pick one year, that can be pretty rough. Now, there is a flip side to this, and there is a reason to not want to just bottom out. It's not free agency, because this team is swamped with salary for the next 2 seasons. but it could be the idea of, if we keep our guys, then maybe we hit a home run on a draft pick and we pick someone with the, I don't know, 12th pick, maybe the 15th pick if they get into the playoffs, maybe a little higher than that if they're able to get to like mid-tier in the East. And maybe that dude can be a star, and then from there you're off and running. Or maybe another star becomes available and they have like just enough assets to make a move. I mean, they were apparently very close to getting Jimmy Butler through trading Josh Richardson in a first-round pick. Whether that actually would have made them better given Richardson's jump is... well, it probably would have made them better. Whether it would have been better for them overall, given that they were also going to trade a first, is a different conversation. But, you know, maybe somebody else becomes available. As far as who that is, I don't know. But between Winslow and Bam, and maybe some other team would be willing to take on Dion Waiters and Rodney McGruder, who's a good defensive player, and actually growing into a pretty okay offensive one as well at the age of 27. It could be just enough stuff for another team to want to take it on, and then it's like, okay, you have some dude you just traded for, you got Richardson. At that point, you're still going to have like some of these veterans, I guess. So that could be the reason for not bottoming out, but there's a risk there. To be fair, there's a risk doing the opposite as well, which is just playing all these young dudes and finding ways to not play the older dudes, whether that's trade them or lower their minutes, whatever it is. And the risk there is maybe you don't nail it on the draft picks. Maybe there's an injury to someone and you're set a year back, and that's another year of like your attendance not being as good as it could be. And, you know, to be fair, Miami's attendance has always been like pretty good, even when they didn't have LeBron and all that. Now, whether that was because of D Wade or not, I mean, I don't know, but I think it's fair to believe that was part of it. So I don't think they're like a Grizzlies situation where it's like we can't tank because then we won't make any money, but they're definitely not the Chicago Bulls where it's we can win 10 games and still lead the league in attendance. So I think that matters. This is not just 2K where it's trade everybody because I don't care. So yeah, there are some interesting things Miami has to manage. I think what they're going to end up doing is they're going to try to do both at the same time, right? They're going to try to win with Whiteside and Dragic, and when Waiters comes back. And they do have D Wade for this season, who's been pretty okay. And then they're also going to try to keep on developing the young guys. Now, Bam is playing 19 minutes a game this season. That's not enough. I think if you can knock Whiteside down to about 25, give Bam an extra 2 minutes at least with that, and then see if you can play Olynyk maybe full-time at power forward, or at least a little bit less at center, then that could maximize Bam's minutes. As for Justice Winslow, he's playing about 28 minutes a game. I think that's pretty good. We'll have to see what Spoelstra does with Winslow's minutes because James Johnson is back now. I know Johnson has had some moments for the Heat, but if I was Spoelstra, I would be pretty much playing Winslow over him without much of a question. I would start Winslow over him and all that. But of course, you know, I probably favor a little bit more towards the side of like play the young dudes and be content with not being as good so you can get a better draft pick. Yeah, it's a really interesting situation. And the thing that sucks about it is that they gave so much money to guys who don't really deserve it. Now, I'm not going to kill them for the Whiteside contract because I know it's tough to remember, but at one time he was like legitimately pretty damn good. And it was right around the time when like the salary cap was going up, so it is what it is. But, you know, like the Tyler Johnson contract is horrible. I also think the contract they gave James Johnson after the 2017 season was really not that necessary. Like, I know he was good, and I know they went on the 41 game thing, they won 41 games after the crazy bad start, but I don't know. You had Winslow coming back. I feel like they should have treated that one kind of like the Celtics did with Evan Turner, where he was good for them off the bench, and then they saw how much Portland was going to give him, and they were like, okay, bye, Evan. We're not giving you that much money. So, yeah, they can't really do anything in free agency for the next couple of years unless they found some sort of salary gymnastics, or if Hassan Whiteside just declined his player option, which I don't see happening. Same thing can be said for Dragic, and it could also be said for Tyler Johnson, but there's no way he's going to decline $19 million. So, yeah, that's the Heat's situation. I think they're going to end up like trying to win this year, because it just seems like the Pat Riley thing to do. Whether they actually should do that or not, that's a whole different conversation. I guess I end up closer to the tank side than the go for it side.